The PlayStation 3 is one of the best affordable retro. That's right, it's almost 20 years. Let's just call it retro, guys. Let's get over it. Systems that you can own and collect for. In this video, I'm gonna show you why the PlayStation 3 should be top of your priority list when collecting. Let's talk about it. So first, you gotta pick a system, guys. And it's 3 to 4 systems that you can pick for, but I wanna show you my 2 favorite systems. First, we have the PlayStation Slim. Probably the best way, but it has some limitations to start collecting. As you can see, I have a cover on my PlayStation 3 right here. This is the little Big Planet 2 cover. I don't know where this came from. I got this like in a trade, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. As you can see, it's light as a feather in a way. Got some scars, but it is great. It's classically great, and you can play so many games about it. We're gonna talk about the games that you can play on this because it's amazing. But I also too have a PlayStation 3. Now this is the Japanese Gran Turismo. Got this on my last trip to Japan. It's still, I haven't even hooked this one up, but I know it plays pretty good because we started in the store, turned on, and everything was cool. But this is mainly a showpiece. My main workhorse, as you just saw, is the other Slim. I like this one. But the big boy right here, I had this for years, y'all. This is the PlayStation 3. This is the big boy, the fat. This right here can play everything. This can play PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3. Now, the only negative thing about it is, well, there's a lot of negative things. This is super heavy. They are expensive to find right now still. As you can see, they have a lot of options. I'm putting this thing down. This thing is heavy, y'all. Ginormous. You can play PlayStation 1 games on this. So we have like Street Fighter Alpha. We got Greatest Hits, y'all. These are the cheaper games that you can buy for this system. They look good on the shelf. Don't let anybody else tell you they're bad games. They're the same games. They're cheaper. Just have the green or the black. And you don't have to have these together on your shelf. You can put these separate. They're about the games, right? They can also play PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games. Now, every PlayStation 3, the Slim, the fat, that ugly PlayStation 3 that you gotta slot, I absolutely just despise that PlayStation 3. That's just my personal opinion. It still plays good. I just don't like it aesthetically. PlayStation 1 games, like I showed you right here. Now, let's talk about PlayStation 1 games, right? There are 3 types of PlayStation 1 games. First, you have the long box games, which, yeah, it's great. It had this a long time ago. This is just for the collection. Then you have PlayStation 1 Greatest Hits. As you can see right here, go back and check out the PlayStation Pursuit on the channel. I'm collecting every PlayStation Greatest Hit. Go check it out. It's a great series. But cheap games like Tekken 3, great game. Twisted Metal 2, such a great game. And the iconic Final Fantasy 7. Or you can still get games like the Black Label. Now, the difference is nothing. Just one has a black label, one has a green. But it's only like certain titles that reach greatest hit status. We'll talk more about the greatest hits. The PlayStation 2 games are only reserved to 2 models of the PlayStation 3. 100% will do the 20 gig and the 60 gig, but it's also an 80 gig and it plays like 80%. You know, do your research on to see which one it is before you buy it. But these right here kind of overheat and break down. That's why I say the Slim PlayStation 3 is the best PlayStation 3 because you can play PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 3 games. Now about PlayStation 3 games, what type of PlayStation 3 games you should collect? Well, I suggest you should get PlayStation games that says only on PlayStation 3. And games like this right here, as you can see, the label, it says only on PlayStation. Now here are a couple games that are pretty affordable and pretty great. MotorStorm Apocalypse, such amazing racing game. It still holds over time. Fighting games, I love Tekken, y'all, but this right here is Tekken Hybrid. Now what you get is, you get Tekken Tag Tournament HD. It's fully from the PlayStation 2, fully HD, great. Then you also, on the same disc, you get a movie. That's what a lot of these PlayStation 3 games do. They do movies on the disc. You just gotta see what games they are. Now, PlayStation 3 do have some expensive games. So, are some of the expensive games worth it? I think so. Now, here are just a couple expensive games. Like 3D Dot Game Heroes. This is probably a $50 game and up. Yakuza Dead Souls. When I played this game, it was wild. I love Yakuza. I love fighting zombies. It's a mix of both. It's a crazy experience. Now, you probably can find this on Steam cheaper, but if you want to collect and you see this game for cheap, grab it. Also, family games on the PlayStation 3 are pretty fun. We got Family Game Night 4, the game show. Now, this has like Connect 4, Scrabble Flash, Yahtzee, Sorry, and Bop It. This is the fourth one. They have other volumes which are incredibly fun, and you can use the Move controllers with the camera that's right here. These are accessories. These are great to go with your PlayStation 3. Another game that uses all of that, such a fun game I covered on the channel, and it's cheap. It's the Michael Jackson Experience. If you're a fan of Michael Jackson and his music, now I can't play the music here because I don't want to get copyright strike, so I don't want to play the music. But this game is so fun, guys. If you're a fan of the Just Dance series, or are you just a fan of Michael Jackson, this right here is an amazing game. So great. Let's talk about more PlayStation 3 games. Some games on the PlayStation 3 do come with a movie like this. Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, in a special kind of case, you know. These call these like the Shield games. It's like a couple of these out. You get the game and the Blu-ray disc. So you get the game, it is the greatest hit, so don't freak out. And then you get the original Mortal Kombat movie all in one pack. And this right here, as you can see, I paid $12 for this. So these are very affordable if you can find those. Another thing on a PlayStation 3, right? I love the greatest hits games. I've been collecting those. That's why I say go back and look at the PlayStation Pursuit. You'll see all that stuff. Like games like Devil May Cry, God of War, so many other greatest hits games out there. There are over 165 greatest hits games that you can play on the PlayStation 3. You'll know them. They will have a red case and it will say greatest hits. And if you open up the disc, and it will have the greatest hits logo on the case. Now this is the older kind of logo. The one of God of War, that's the newer logo. As you saw with Mortal Kombat vs. DC right here. These two are great games. One more thing about the video games on the PlayStation 3 is you can play straight from Japan Japanese exclusive games. Here we have Biohazard HD Collection. Now in this Biohazard you get Biohazard Code Veronica and Biohazard 4, which in the States we call Resident Evil. It's things like that that make the PlayStation 3 amazing console. Also, let's talk about movies. That's right. You already saw one movie, guys. So you can play DVDs on here. I got some of my favorite DVDs here, like Martin. We got an episode, a movie of the Batman, and you know, I love wrestling movies or documentaries. You got The Rock here. Then you can also find Blu-rays for cheap. Look at these Blu-rays right here, guys. So we got movies, we got DVDs, we have Japanese exclusive, we got greatest hits, we got regular PlayStation 3 games, we have PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games all on the PlayStation 3. Let's go back and talk about controllers. Now we already talked about the Move controllers, which the Move controllers are really great because you have accessories like this right here, like the gun. As you open this up right here, you can put the Move inside of here, put this on top, and you have a Move gun where you can play Time Crisis on the PlayStation 3. This is pretty dope. A lot of people skip over this. I mean, they looked at the Wii and they're like, okay, PlayStation tried, but when they did try, it worked out really good. And also, the Move can go over to the PlayStation 4 on some games with the PlayStation 4 VR. Check that video out on the channel. Also, another accessory, we have controllers, which it's not an accessory. You need controllers. This is an accessory I was talking about with the controller. This is like a chat pad that you can put on the controller. Like here's a controller. We're gonna talk about those. All you gotta do is clip it on so easy. Look, real time. Boom. Clip that on the back. as you can see. So would you ever use this? Never really used it a lot. Maybe just, you know, typing really quick information. Yeah, I'll keep it on there. But let's talk about the controllers. Look, you got so many different controllers. So you got the blue and the red, and then this is my favorite PlayStation 3 controller, the see-through blue. Now this is kind of rare-ish, but as you can see up to the blue. Now these both are DualShock 6-axis controllers. There are two versions of the PlayStation 3 controller. You may get a controller that's really light, and if you look, you'll see DualShock 6-axis, but the light one will just say 6-axis. That's the first version of the PlayStation 3 controller. And then when you do get a PlayStation 3 controller, make sure that you get a charging cable with that. I see a lot of people make that mistake. They don't get the charging cable and they can't charge their controller, and like, well, what happened? Why is my controller dead? Well, you didn't charge it up. They also have third-party controllers by Retro Fighters. Look them up, see which one you like, controller, case, color, all of that. See which one works for you. So that's my advice if you're gonna start collecting for the PlayStation 3.